I bought Escape from Tarkov 4 or 5 years ago. It was a project that, at first glance, it was something that I wanted to support. Hardcore milsim, looter shooter, extraction shooter, doing so many different new and unique things that no other game had. And I love supporting early access titles. I always have, because they offer something that many other games don't, which is the opportunity for you to put your money behind, stake your interest on, and say, this is something that I want. This is a game that I want. I'm helping these developers to fulfill a dream of their own and bring something that I want into the market. And I've never been happier to do so. I did it with Baldur's Gate 3. I did it with No Rest for the Wicked just recently. I did it with Hades back in the day. And there's a long list of other games that I've supported, and I've never been happier to do so because most of those games have delivered on that promise. And I ended up getting experiences from those games that I never would have gotten from AAA. And Escape from Tarkov is the first one to ever really make me sit back and say, man, this is going to ruin early access for everybody. Because if a developer is allowed to do something like this, quite literally rug pull their audience, they know what everyone assumed when you sell a $150 EOD edition, Edge of Darkness edition, and say all future DLC is included. They know what people assumed when they sold that. And now to come back on a technicality and say, you know what, the PvE mode, the one thing that you all were looking forward to, the fully realized dream of this game when it's fully released. Yeah, sorry, you can't have that. That's going to be $250 now. It's unheard of. Unheard of edition, right? It's almost like they're memeing on it because they know what they're doing. They don't care. And the problem with that is that if something like this stands and something like this continues to go, then we continue to cede ground as we already have been over the last few years. And it's only gotten worse. The last 2 years specifically have been just wild for our abilities to lose rights as consumers, to lose the amount of content that we normally get in games, the quality of games when they're released, how much the game is monetized through microtransactions and macro transactions in the case of some of these games as well. And it's only getting worse. Hell, we don't even own these games anymore. And the minute that they want to flip the switch and turn it off, they can. And losing ground on something like this, where these companies quite literally can just rug pull us, it's a step too far. The other steps were already too far. But this is going to push games and push the precedent for ripping off video game customers to a whole new level, to something that you've never even seen before. Because this industry is highly unregulated. Most of the people that are in government have no idea what's going on in this industry. It's the Wild West. It's one of the reasons why people love investing in it so much, is because there's so much opportunity for them to make a whole lot of money, because video game customers don't have a whole lot of rights. And most of these companies are just writing the rules up as they go, just like what Battlestate Games is doing right now. All of a sudden, a PvE mode, something that was promised, the full realization of what this game was supposed to be, is now a feature, not a DLC. And if that's the case, if it's a feature, then that means that, well, it's something that was already in the game, and now you're just going to unlock it. And if that's the case, that's a whole other rabbit hole to jump down. Because if it's something you're adding to the game, that's what we call DLC. But if it's a feature, then that means most likely it was already there from the beginning, because of course it was, because that's what this game was supposed to be. And now you're just going to unlock it for us for an extra $100 for the people that bought the EOD edition. Actually, more than that, because they don't pay any of the fees. They make the customers pay the fees. I mean, of course they would. I don't normally make videos like this where it's more candid, where I don't edit in a bunch of different things. I'm not going to go over the entire long history of the different things that the company has said, the promises they've made. The promise was made. They know what that promise was. The customers know what that promise was. And that's the reason why everybody's mad, is because they are quite blatantly, quite literally ripping everyone off. And they're doing it on a public stage and have no problem doing it. They don't care what people's opinions of them are or anything like that. And really what they're doing right now is they're just testing the waters. They're gonna cede some ground. They're gonna go, okay, well, you know, we'll give you a discount. We'll give you this. We'll give you that, right? But at the end of the day, that's really all they're doing, is just testing to see how far they can push you. And that's what all these companies want to do. They just want to continue to test and see how far they can push us and how much money they can squeeze before we finally beg for mercy. And this is one of those moments where we can't cede ground. We can't give up on something like this. I don't normally tell people what to do with their money or what to do with their purchases. I'm somebody that already purchased the $150, the Edge of Darkness edition years ago. And I'm not going to tell people that are already owners of the game to continue to play it or not to play it. But one thing that I will say is that, like, if you haven't bought it, don't. Ever. This is a game that I can't support. This is a company that I can't support, because even if they walk it back, even if they say, you know, sorry, we don't mean it, guys. We're so sorry. We're so sorry. They have the capacity for it. The chum's already in the water. They're just going to look for the next opportunity to do it. The next opportunity will be even worse than this. I hate to see what games have become. I hate to see how much we've been taken advantage of over the years. And like I said earlier, we're losing ground year over year, and it's just getting worse and worse and worse. And the worst part about it is that normally, in most cases, this is when I tell people, hey, make sure you're supporting indie studios. Make sure you're supporting some of these smaller games. Take a look at early access. But when you have an absolute piece of shit like this company come through and do what they're doing, it besmirches is that what the word is? It ruins everything for every other game that's out there. Every other live service game, every other small studio, because then the players don't know who they can trust. And there's not very many companies that are out there that we can trust. And in many cases, we probably shouldn't trust any of them, but we want to, because it's a hobby we love. It's a thing that we love. And we want to love some of these studios, and we want to be happy and excited for the games that they put out, because we enjoy that experience so much, and we want to share it with other people. And this is like one of the greatest communities that are out there, is the gaming community, outside of all the toxicity. And I guess it's not the greatest, but it's pretty good. This is something that I won't support. This is something that I suggest nobody else supports. This is something that I hope everybody talks about. And I also hope that we don't take this and start applying it to other companies that otherwise should have some level of trust. So be cautious with your purchases. Stay the fuck away from Tarkov. And yeah, that's all I got. Anyway, I just wanted to get this out there. I wanted to talk about it a little bit. I have seen everything about the game. I just didn't really exactly know how I wanted to put words together for it. I didn't want to make a 40-minute long video talking about it or anything like that. I literally just wanted to state my points, tell you guys where I stood as somebody that purchased the game themselves, as a customer more than anything else. And yeah, that's all I got. Stay cool, stay righteous, stay safe. Peace.
Family, 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 family.